We realize so much of the conversation is about the quarterback situation in Chicago. We needed to just focus in on that. And so, Louis, I'll give you the floor. You have been very high. You've been a believer in Mitch Trubisky for a long time. Have you come to the end of that road?
Yeah, I think I have, especially when you're talking about who will be the quarterback of this team maybe in 2020. I think Matt Nagy will nurse this till the end of the season. I think he will do what he needs to do in order to get Mitch to play at a level that will allow them the chance to compete for a wild card berth. They're not going to win. They're not going to win the North this year. But I think he will do that. But I think come 2020, I personally think Matt's going to look at this and go, look at the quarterbacks that I had when I was in Kansas City. I had Alex Smith, who's one of the most cerebral quarterbacks maybe to ever play the game. I had Pat Mahomes, who's one of the most naturally gifted to ever play the game. With Mitch, I'm kind of in purgatory, so to speak. I don't have either one. I don't have a guy who's known to be the cerebral type who can just figure it out, or a guy who necessarily has unique throwing ability. And I think that's just going to lead him down a road to maybe saying, hey, look, we may need to go in a different direction if we want to ultimately get to a Super Bowl here.
I buy that. Here's the question I have. Are they currently utilizing him to the best of his ability, which is to suggest he has a skill set, whatever it is. It may not give him the ability to become a great quarterback, but they won games doing it last year, and they seem to have gotten away from it to some degree, Mark, this year.
Let's not forget, just last week, if they make that field goal, it's a little different narrative. We're a little nicer to Mitch, right?
Right.
And he plays well towards the end of games. He gets him in position to win. But also don't forget, last year he averaged 30 yards a game with his legs. Thank you, Hembo. And I mean, he's not doing it this year. They're almost siloing him in the pocket in some ways. Like, in some ways, just let him play a little bit. Stop worrying too much, Mitch, and just go play. Go play and have fun. Cut it loose.
That's kind of what I'm talking about. Is that it looks like Matt Nagy is trying to make Mitch Trubisky into the kind of quarterback that Nagy wants to have, instead of utilizing the things that he can actually do.
Oh, let's not also forget this. Like Louis mentioned, two guys, Alex Smith and Patrick Mahomes. They're both pretty athletic guys. They can do things, but I don't think Nagy wants to run an offense where you're running your quarterback all the time like the Buffalo Bills with Josh Allen. Like, Trubisky isn't great at diagnosing coverages. He struggles to see down the field. And this may honestly be a blessing in disguise for Bears fans, because maybe the worst thing that could have happened is he maybe caught fire a little bit again this year. Maybe they make a little bit of a playoff run, and it ends up like the Blake Bortles situation in Jacksonville, where you commit to a guy because of how good your team is, and he's played well at the right times, but then it's going to hamstring you the next 2 or 3 years because you're going to be committed to that guy for more than just his rookie deal.
Yeah, I think there's just too much responsibility on the part of the coaching staff to have to come up with something for it always to be right for him. And he can't ever just unlock, like you said, he can't ever just unlock his mind and say, hey, look, I don't care what happens, I'm just going to play. They want him to do that.
That's what he did at the end of last year.
But he just does, but they can't tap into that on a consistent basis is the problem. That's why I think long term, they're going to have to go somewhere else.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports and analysis, download the ESPN app, and for live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN Plus.